Hey guys, Coaster Directed coming at you with my top 10, 15 steel coasters. I already did one for my wood coasters, and now I'm doing one for my steel. Anyways, the coaster season is coming to an end, and so I just like to wrap up this part of the year with my top 15 steel coasters. I have been to, in the fall or whatever, I have been to two more parks, that being Six Flags St. Louis and Six Flags Great America, my first Six Flags parks in a while, since I was like 4 or 5, and my last one was when Kentucky Kingdom was a Six Flags Parks. Anyways, let's get on to number 15. Number 15 is Wicked Twister, the Intamin invert at Cedar Point. Anyways, 70-mile-per-hour launch is the tallest and fastest impulse coaster in the world. It is a great ride, honestly. It's pretty simple, but I really do like it. At number 14, we have Raptor, the B&M invert at Cedar Point. Great ride, however, I don't think it stacks up as much compared to another B&M invert on this list. However, it is still doing really good. I personally prefer it more than the Batman clone, or the Batman clones, even though the Batman clones are very intense. Number 13 is Firehawk. This one's, once again, a little bit of an odd one. It was on my list last time. I just love flying coasters. They're awesome. I love the sensation you get from it. This one still freaks me out, or not freaks me out, but it still is intimidating rolling over on the first drop, thinking you might fall out or something, which obviously you won't, but it's still pretty awesome. The vertical loop or whatever pulls some serious G's. It's an awesome ride. However, awful capacity. Awful capacity. Last time I rode it, I did, however, get into a 5-minute line, which was awesome. And this thing usually just has a super long line with awful capacity, but it is a great ride, however. Up next is Superman Ultimate Flight, the other flying coaster on this list. I thought Firehawk was good. This ride is super good. It's just great in my opinion. I love flying coasters, like I said. A lot of people think they're overrated and whatever, and they're gimmicky. Yes, they are. They are gimmicky, but they're so much fun in my opinion. This one, I liked a lot more than Firehawk, even though it's only one spot above. The pretzel loop, really intense. Pulls some serious G's as well, just like Firehawk's vertical loop. And even though it's a really short ride, I still thought it was tons of fun. And I rode this in like pitch dark or pitch black. The only time I've ridden this is in pitch black. So it is very, very cool. I plan on possibly, if I head out to California next year, which is a pretty big possibility, I may go to Six Flags Magic Mountain, ride Tatsu, and compare it against this. Probably that will end up taking that spot from Superman. But for now, Superman Ultimate Flight is my number 12. At number 11, we have Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast at Six Flags St. Louis. I have not been to the one at Over Texas. They're pretty much clones. There's not much different about them, and it's really fun. Pretty short ride. However, it is one of the longer shuttle coasters that I have been on. I think it is the longest shuttle coaster I have been on. 70-mile-per-hour backwards launch is pretty cool, and as soon as you throw it out in the light, you don't even know it, and you're already upside down into the inverted top hat. And then the vertical spike is awesome because the LIMs are pulling you up, and because it slows you down, your body is just trying to be staying at rest and then heading back down. Well, anyways, the LIMs pull it up, and it's a pretty freaky experience having it feels like you're about to fall out. Like a lot of these, it feels like you're about to fall out, but obviously you are not. Overbank turn is a little bit jerky, and this ride pulls some serious G's, especially at the bottom of the vertical spike. At number 10, we have the first of the B&M wing coasters. We have XFlight. This ride is pretty epic. The the fly-through of the tower is awesome. The vertical, or the wing over drop, awesome. I've only ridden this once, like a lot of these, but I rode it front row, and it was wing coasters are amazing in the front row. You can see everything, and I just love all the theming on this is actually really good for a Six Flags coaster. Very nice, and just a good ride. At number 9, we have Magnum XL 200, the very first hypercoaster, opening in 1988. This is a beast. This thing feels like it's trying to throw you out into Lake Erie. That seems like its only purpose. The airtime on this is ejector airtime galore. It's painful, but it is amazing at the same time. Especially those bunny hills at the end. Those things are some of the best airtime moments ever on any coaster. Anyways, moving on to number 8, we have Gatekeeper, or Gate Sleeper, as some people say. I wasn't too blown away from this at a couple of the seats. However, front seat is amazing. You roll over this so slow at the very top, and being at the highest inversion in the world, all the way up there, is pretty intimidating. Uh, Other than that, it is a pretty good ride. It's a very nice looking coaster. It's extremely good looking. That's what I'd have to say. And the near miss elements on this are awesome. However, I'd have to give the near miss element advantage to XFlight. I think that's slightly better. At number 7, we have Thunderbird, the only launched B&M coaster. Hulk doesn't count. It wasn't made. The launch mechanism was not made by them. Anyways, super fun ride. Launch on this is pretty good. It's nowhere close to like Top Thrill Dragster's launch and everything, obviously, because it only breaks 60 miles per hour. However, great ride. It's a little short, but it definitely is a good ride. Zero G roll, Immelman, uh, just all that. It's a fantastic ride. I'd say go to Holiday World for this voyage and the rest of them. Number 6 is a little bit of an odd one. Raging Bull, even though this is a hypercoaster, it's a little bit of the lesser hypercoasters. I thought this was really good. It does have a B&M rattle, especially in the second turnaround, in going into the the last part of the twister section, or going into the brake run, or the MCRB, or mid-course brake run. I mean, sorry. It is a very nice ride. And I thought it's trimmed. That's the only thing I'll have to say about this, is that the first parabolic hill is pretty trimmed. You get no airtime on that. Other than that, it's a really fun, nice, twisty, speed-oriented kind of B&M hyper. At number 5, we have Top Thrill Dragster, the second tallest roller coaster in the world. Overrated, yes, but I do love this coaster so much. It's a great ride, an insane thrill. This thing is, you will not get a thrill like it unless you go onto like King Dakar or something, and this thing is intimidating. You can see this everywhere in the park, and it's an awesome thing to watch, an even better thing to ride. The launch on this in the back is a little shaky, however, it is completely bearable. The lap bar and everything is so freeing, so comfortable, and the theming's pretty good for Cedar Point Park, or Cedar Fair Park, I mean. And it's just, it takes your breath away. It's pretty awesome. And it's over like that. It's like a 17-second ride. That's it, pretty much. Anyways, moving on to number 4, we have Banshee. This is the other B&M invert on this list. And overall, easily my favorite B&M invert. And the dive loop, the vertical loop, all of it's really good. It does have a slight rattle, but it's completely bearable. It's not that bad. And it's really, the only time it's really noticeable, I'd say, is in the pretzel loop, but that's about it. On to number 3 is Diamondback, my favorite B&M, or my favorite hypercoaster. Airtime galore on this thing. It's fantastic. And then the splashdown section is pretty freaking amazing at the same time. One thing that's really hilarious on this ride is if you're in the very back seat and you go into the water splashdown or whatever, you can literally stick out your hand backwards and it'll completely drench your body. It's it's awesome. And overall, airtime galore, butter smooth, easily one of the smoothest roller coasters I have been on, and it's just a fantastic ride. On to number 2, Maverick at Cedar Point. Awesome launch, super intense. This ride is another one that's trying to throw you straight out into Lake Erie or onto the pavement, whichever one you prefer. Anyways, the inversions on this don't feel like they're trying to intrude on the ride like a lot of others. Like, it doesn't slow down the pace at all. Like, the heartline rolls and everything. And the beyond vertical drop, awesome, especially because you're going like 30 miles per hour up the hill anyways. You are pretty much slammed into your restraints. I can imagine how this could be really, really painful if it had the old restraints. I've only ridden it with the I-305 style of restraints. It's a fantastic ride, and I had a really memorable ride on this. Pouring rain. It's, ugh, really painful. Just shooting at your face the entire time. The very last ride that I was on was this, and it's a really memorable ride in my opinion. Fantastic, honestly. Intamin did an awesome thing with this. At number 1, we have the stereotypical Millennium Force. What can I say? I love this ride. I honestly do. It exceeded my expectation, and I wasn't looking. I thought this ride was going to be overrated. I thought wasn't as good as everyone said it was, but I thought it when I actually rode it, I thought it was actually as good as I thought it was going to as people were saying it was. Millennium Force, I'm at Millennium Forceless. No, this thing has force to it. Airtime on it, it has about 3 or 4 really good spots of airtime, and it's good ejector and floater. It's a mix between the two. However, I definitely could see why people don't like it because it doesn't have as much airtime. I just love the speed of this ride. This thing keeps a constant speed. It does not slow down like a hypercoaster. Like going over the hills of a hypercoaster, it doesn't slow down. It just keeps rocking through the elements. Overbank turns are super good on this. It's really smooth. I think it's about as smooth as Diamondback for me. And once again, the restraints. All you have is the T-bar. That's it. Oh yeah, and a seatbelt, obviously. But all you have is a seatbelt and a T-bar, keeping you from falling over 310 feet. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, keep coasting.